Paul Chambers. And anybody who's a bass player would know who jazz bass player would know who Paul Chambers is.
Yeah.
You know Paul Chambers?
Yeah.
He's one of the main reasons why jazz sounds the way it does in terms of the bass. And I got one more funny story about UMASS and my time here. The first year that I started playing upright, as I mentioned before, Reggie Workman was my first bass teacher. And they invited a saxophone player by the name of Andrew White up for a performance. Dr. Tillis was the head of the big band at UMass, and I was in the big band. And so Andrew White was the first time I started hearing his name. Andrew White, he just died about a year or two ago. Incredible musician, genius really. And I mean, he played oboe in classical groups. He was known as a great saxophone player. He played electric bass with Fifth Dimension. So he was a well-rounded individual, but very eccentric, what we call eccentric. He was crazy. But good crazy. And so Dr. Tillis brought him to the University of Massachusetts my first year of playing bass. And Andrew at that time had transcribed John Coltrane's solos. This would have been like in 1975, I think, 74, 75. And, Coltrane had just died in 67. And so everybody was chasing the train, as they say. And he had managed to transcribe all of Trane's stuff. And so we had a concert, it was all of Coltrane's material. And Andrew not only transcribed it, but he also played it. And so I spent the whole semester learning giant steps. Any of you who are musicians know that giant steps was like one of the first pentacle tunes that was a major hard tune to play. And so I spent the entire semester learning giant steps. But I wasn't playing like that. So we get, Andrew came up a couple times, and we went through the material, and I was like, I'm ready. So Charlie Persep, great Charlie Persep, who played with Dizzy Gillespie. I think Charlie played with James Brown too. He was just an incredible cat. So we did the rehearsal. This was before the Fine Arts Center was there. It was at the chapel, the old chapel. So we do the rehearsal, he does the rehearsal, and Charlie's just tipping. Not really playing. Just tipping. I'm like, I'm cool. Concert's tonight, I'm cool. We get to the concert, Andrew White counts off the tune, and the real Charlie Persip showed up. He played so much stuff that I got scared, and I just started playing as fast as I could. And he's playing, he looks at me, he takes his drumstick, and he goes, come back! Come back! Come back! I was gone. So now, fast forward a few years later, I'm playing with McCoy Tyner. Charlie, he wouldn't even remember this because I was just a student. And Andrew White was a special guest with us, with the trio. It was me, McCoy, Blues Hayes, and Andrew White was a special guest with us down in D.C. at Blues Alley. So I'm telling Andrew about my experience, with Charlie, and how actually after that, it was more like a religious experience. Me coming from a religious background, when I heard Trane, it was like a religious experience. And it wasn't Trane's inside stuff with Miles. It was Ascensions, his really far out stuff. I heard that, and that's what grabbed me. And I was like, as a matter of fact, my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, she came to my dorm, and I was listening. I heard this music on the radio, and I was like, dang, I never heard cats play like that. So I just sat there for like the rest of the tune, like 7 minutes, and I was like transformed. It was like really a religious experience. I went out the next day and got all the Coltrane albums I could possibly find. My wife thought I was well, she was my girlfriend at the time. She goes, I'm not coming over to your dorm if you're listening to that noise. Of course, that's all she listens to now. But, you know, so anyway, Andrew, we were doing Andrew's a special guest with us at Blues Alley. So I'm telling him about the whole thing when he came up to UMass, you know, and I said, you know, really had a big impression on me. He goes, oh, you're the guy they're talking about. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, after that concert, he was at a music something, and somebody came up to him and said, you know, Mr. White, that was an incredible concert. Everybody's pretty much come down except for one guy. That would have been me. So he goes, he just started laughing, and he goes, so have you gotten over it? I said, you see who I'm playing with, right? And Boy Tyner, Coltrane's piano player. So no, I didn't get over it. I went deep. But anyway. So here's Mr. PC.
And David, for having me here. And once again, I really appreciate your indulgence in coming out and being part of this.
Avery Sharpe.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to Avery, thanks to Alexi and the Augusta Savage Gallery, thanks to you for joining us. Have a wonderful evening.